Federal Reserve leaves its rates unchanged, and the headline news is that they see three opportunities next year to lower interest rates. In other words, lower interest rate 3 times. I found it interesting that headline news included those interest rate cuts where I've noticed in prior months they would talk more about the just leaving them unchanged and a general comment of whether or not future rates would be down or not. Then you had to read into an article to actually find a number of times. So a little heavier focus on what apparently is the dot map. Now, I have not studied the dot map, okay? And I've got to look at that. And Powell, if he's not speaking now, will speak in a matter of minutes here. And he could say things now that would be hawkish to offset the dovishness of not raising rates and saying that, hey, there could be 3 rate cuts next year. So there still may be some intraday volatility here when they can knock the market down, okay? But for the moment, the market, it was like no one dared to sell this market yesterday, today, going into the Fed Reserve announcement, and then they bought it. Now, we've been up 30, 35 points in the S&P 500, up a couple hundred in the Dow Jones, 80 in NASDAQ, I think. And to me, it seems so far orderly. But something could go wrong, not only just the next few hours, but the next few days, and that there are technical traders out there worried that the market is very overbought on a short-term to very short-term basis. So they think something should at least cause it to set back and consolidate a little. If it trades below yesterday's close for the stock market, I'd be a little concerned it may start one of those moves down, especially after this good news today and the warm, fuzzy feeling of the market right now relative to this news, okay? So, and the interest rates, by the way, are dropping. They're down to 4.07 on a 10-year note. That's quite a bit lower than my best guess target, so I'm still nervous someday interest rates have to go up and move sideways for quite a while. But I don't think that's going to cause any problems on our longer-term forecast here for strength in the stock market. And we'll talk more of those things tomorrow in the weekly update. We've met at my better objectives here, and I had a 46.30s to 46.50s, and then I decided a few minutes ago to bump it to 70s, maybe 80s, and we're already working on that now. Okay, we're there. We're in the 46.70s. We need to recalculate because I'm running out of near-term upside targets. All I have is more like the intermediate to long-term targets to begin at 48.16 and higher. I also believe I have some targets at 47.70s. That may be just for the futures. I need to double-check that. So I think the technical people are nervous about using higher and higher targets. They think that this market deserves a setback, and they may be right. But I think the 5-day average can be support. I think I don't see it wiping out the last 5 up days here, but it could pull back some of that, retrace some of that, and maybe Powell can say something to get them scared, and these computers and day traders play the downside. But I think those type of traders are a little nervous that there's some big boys and girls out there are just hoping they play the downside and get away with it because they're going to buy it. And the point is, they may not wait for it to come down quite a bit. They may start buying and just pretty much cancel those type of traders that they want their positions, they want to get them. So I think everybody is kind of in this mood. Go ahead, drop it, and I will buy it, buy the dip. I think they're in a mood. This market's worth more than this. We have more upside. Now, I'll explain in tomorrow's weekly update. I'm adjusting the last level 3 top a little later, and I'm moving the bottom a little later. This allows more time for rally. I think it's possible the stock market's going higher into next week when I'd been a little bit concerned it was going to top for a level 3 this week and pull back for a bottom this week, or maybe even to early next week, and then higher. I now think this can be an up week. And I'm not seeing what other types of news would cause people to sell. I don't think it's the news. If they're going to sell in the next few days and we can't link it to what Powell says, then my guess is it's only technical trading, profit taking, maybe year-end selling for taxes or some crazy thing like that. I don't think it's the real business of related to economies and businesses making money and the stocks are worth more. Okay, so it's going to have to be some of those other little games there. And to me, that means more limited downside than what we've seen in quite some time. It looks like the bottom line is, yes, plenty of evidence we're winning the war on inflation. Evidence the Federal Reserve can probably create a soft landing here, or there's no problems whatsoever, really. And it's all going to work out, and they can lower interest rates as we get back to a better economy, normal economy, let's say, moving into next year. So far, quite constructive of what we've seen today, plugging that into the long-term scenario. Okay, long-term bullish for next year, but it's also still constructive of plugging it in for the remainder of this year that there can be more upside here. We can get a Santa Claus rally, but just keep in mind, they were brave enough to buy this for like 5 days straight into such an important meeting, okay? And they bought it even when the inflation reports, in my opinion, were really not changed all that much. There wasn't anything impressive about it. So they were and then we had a very good jobs report, and they bought the market anyways. So they were basically worried most about the Federal Reserve, but they were very determined to buy stocks with or without the Federal Reserve, okay? And at least the Federal Reserve for the moment hasn't shown anything that I think should cancel things in a major way where they really want to sell or demand really backs off. So now we got to see what Powell says in the next few minutes, how the market behaves, and the intraday stuff here. But I think ultimately we're probably going to see this market higher next week. And I'm not that concerned if I'm not right on that. I think all it would be any kind of pullback into next week is simply going to be consolidation before the next phase of a Santa Claus rally. So I think we win no matter what. The little zigzags day to day may be a little off the mark, but I think it's all going to work out for us. Now, if it were to trade below yesterday's close, wipe out this 37-point up move we have right now, I'd be a little concerned that, we need to stall out for a little bit, but we'll talk more of that later. I don't think a negative day even today would really be all that serious. I think we found another floor, stair-stepping floor higher, and the trends are higher, and there's more upside this month. And then I think there's plenty of upside next year. Interest rates have come down a little faster than I'd like. They're down to 4.07%, and the 10-year note, I can see rebounds, but I think it's going to come now from just normal debt business, the marketplace, not because of the Fed Reserve. And I think the market's going to learn to shrug those off. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. Have a great day. If I see anything after Powell speaks, or I see something by the end of the close I think you should be aware of, I will update you, but not. I will speak to you in the morning for a morning brief, and then I will do the weekly update later tomorrow. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. Have a great day. Thank you.